Hi, this is another math video from Store Educational Services. If you learned something from this video, please remember to like and subscribe. All right, so this is a 7th grade skill. We're going to be learning about the probability of events. There are 2 important vocabulary words I want us to focus on today. The first one is sample space. Sample space is all the possible outcomes of an event. And by outcomes, it just means if you flip a coin, you have a probability, your outcomes are heads or tail. If you are pulling out cards, your outcomes are whether you pull out a 2, a king, and so on. Independent events are events that are not affected by the previous event. So when you flip a coin, it doesn't matter if you have gotten heads 10 times in a row. Each new flip is an independent event. One does not affect the other. Pulling out a card can be an independent event if you pull out a card and you put it right back so you still have 52 cards in the deck. If you do not put the card back, then it does become a dependent event because then your probability does change. But today we're just going to be looking at examples of independent events. All right, so let's look at that coin. That's the most basic one. So let's say we flip a coin just twice. All right, so if we flip a coin twice, our outcome could be head or we can have tail. The second time we could have head or tail. Actually, since I have space, let's say we flipped it 3 times. So we could have head or tail, head or tail. So this is first, second, third. So these are all our possible outcomes. All right, so our sample space are all the possible outcomes that we could have. So perhaps we have head, 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 3 head in a row, or it could be head, head, tails. It could be head, tail, head. It could be head, tail, tail. Or we may have started with the tail as our first outcome. Tail, head, head. Tail, head, tail. Tail, head, or tail, tail, tail. So we have 8 possible outcomes that can happen. So this is what we call our sample space. These are all things that can happen. And we can answer probability questions from the sample space. So, for example, if we ask what is the probability that we have at least 1 head? Well, we have 8 possible outcomes that can happen here. And we want at least 1 head. So I see 1 head here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we have 7 out of 8 chances of getting at least 1 head. All right, if we want to know what is the probability of getting absolutely no tails. So no tails, that's this one, and I believe that's the other one. 1/8 chance of no tails. So 1 out of 8. So this is how we can use a tree diagram. The tree diagram is just to help us organize. It's usually for a situation where you don't have a whole lot of data, because then it can get more complicated. So if you do have more data, then you might want to use an organized table. So quite often you will see this with problem involving throwing die, like throwing a die or a pair of dice. So like I said, we're throwing 2 dice and we want to know, like, what is our sample space for that? All right, so in a pair of die or pair of dice, or each die, you have 6 possibilities. And if you have a pair of dice, then you have, it looks like a multiplication table, but you have 6 going across and 6 going down. So our possible outcome, we could have 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 5, 1, 6, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 2, 4, 2, 5, 2, 6, 3, 1, 3, 2, 3, 3, 3, 4, 3, 5, 3, 6, 4, 1, 4, 2, 4, 3, 4, 4, 4, 5, 4, 6, 5, 1, 5, 2, 5, 3, 5, 4, 5, 5, 5, 6, 6, 1, 6, 2, 6, 3, 6, 4, 6, 5, 6, 6. All right, so these are all our possible outcomes, what we'll call our sample space. And again, we can answer questions. So if we say there are 36 possible outcomes here. So if we say what is the probability of getting both be even numbers? So if we're looking for two even numbers, so nothing from that first row. So we have here, nothing from the third row. So here we have 3, 6, 9. 9 out of 36. And in 7th grade, you are expected to be able to simplify fractions. So 9 out of 36, the greatest common factor of 9 and 36 is 9. 9 divided by 9 is 1. 36 divided by 9 is 4. So you have 1/4 chance, 25% chance of both dice landing on an even number. And there are, of course, a lot of other interesting questions that you can answer from something like this. Like perhaps, or sometimes they might ask you a question like, what's the probability of getting a sum that is greater than 8? So then you can just look and see, okay, well, if it's greater than 8, this is greater than 8. Oh, no, actually, this is exactly 8, so nope. This is greater than 8. 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 Greater than 8. Greater than 8. So when you add up the two numbers that each die rolled on, what's the probability that the sum will be greater than 8? So remember, we still have 36 outcomes, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, same thing again. That was just a coincidence. I just picked a number, but yeah, it's the same thing. 9 out of 36. But again, there are many questions you can answer from there. And let's see what else. We can create, there's something called the fundamental counting principle, especially when your numbers start getting pretty large, where you may not be able to make a tree diagram because it would be so large. Or, yeah, just I guess a lot of things to write. So let's say you might have a problem like this. You have 7 shirts, 4 pair of pants, and 2 pair of shoes. And let's, put colors aside. If you want to know how many different outfits can you create from this, well, you can do 7 times 4 times 2. 7 times 4 times 2 is 56. So again, color aside, you have 56 different outfits that you can create from this. So we can use the fundamental counting principle when we have something where our outcomes will just be so large that we don't want to make a tree diagram. Let's say you have a die and a coin and you're flipping it, and you want to know, well, how many, in that one you could make a tree diagram because that's not going to be so large, but we can still use the fundamental counting principle. So let's say I flip a coin and throw a die. So if I throw the die first, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 possible outcome, and then head, tail, head, tail, head, tail, head, tail, head, tail, head, tail. So that wasn't so bad to create a tree diagram, but we know that when you throw a die, you have 6 possible outcome, and when you flip a coin, you have 2 possible outcome. 6 times 2 is 12. And right here we can see we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1H, 1T, 2H, 2T, 3H, 3T, 4H, 4T, 5H, 5T, 6H, 6T. So you can use that tree diagram or the fundamental counting principle to see how many possible outcomes you have. And again, what question you can answer from it. So like perhaps what is the probability of getting an odd number and tail? So we have 1 here, 2, 3. So we have 3 out of 12, which again is 1/4 probability. All right, guys, I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you next time.